right? Sometimes we actually don't realize that we have certain habits until they cause trouble for us, right? Have you ever noticed something as soon as you did something bad? You're like, wow, this is actually causing me harm, and it kind of led me down a path without me actually noticing. But instead of stressing about our bad habits, what if we started to focus on our good habits or focus on helpful habits to live our lives by? Right? Again, they're small, but they're incredibly powerful, just like atoms. And so in the same way that they're small and tiny and hardly noticeable, we want to start to think about them. We want to start to change them. We want to start to make them helpful. Right? What are some small things that you do every day that draws you closer to God? Or even on the flip side, maybe there's small things that you do throughout the day that take you further and further away from Him. And so we may have our own assumptions about God, about Jesus, and the misunderstandings, right? Maybe you might think Jesus was a good teacher, but that's it. Maybe He's just a crutch to lean on when things get tough. Or maybe you won't even feel loved. How could anybody love you? How could He accept you? And Jesus is a good option, but, maybe there's other ways to know God, right? These are some things that we might think about Jesus. But until we make a habit to spend time with Him, to get to know Him, we won't actually have a chance to see how amazing He truly is and how He can change our lives. We can all think of moments in our lives that you feel like changed who you are and changed the course of your life. And you guys are still young, so maybe you don't have crazy decisions, but it could even have been, hey, I'm going to play this sport, I'm going to go here for high school, I'm going to pick up this instrument, and think about how different your life is because of that. And a lot of those decisions are gradual, right? You pick a school to go to, you go there every day. You learn to and want to play guitar, you're going to practice that every day. And same thing with sports. So you're going to continue to build habits and build things within your lives, but we want to talk about the habit of spending time with God. When we spend time with Him, we become more like Him, and that's why we want to push through the idea is that make it a habit to spend time with God. And of course, that's always the question of, well, how do we do that? And it simply could just be the basic answers that we normally give in Sunday school of we can learn, we can pray, we can worship. But what would it look like to actually have those habits in your life? What would it look like if every single day you learned more about the Bible, you prayed, and you worshiped? Not just on Sundays, not just on Wednesdays, but every day in between as well. And so we want to start to build this idea of habit stacking. Right? That may sound like a game that you kind of download on your mobile phone, but it's actually a strategy for developing good habits in your life. And so what this is that you follow a simple formula. You can say, after I blank, I will blank. So after dinner, I will pray. After school, I will worship. Or even on the flip side, you want to maybe reward yourself. After I pray, I'll hang out with my friends. After I worship, I'll play video games. So we want to start to think of that, right? How can we start to do that in our lives? How can we habit stack for some good things in our life of exercising, of talking to people, of going outside, doing sports, doing plays, doing worship, doing music. But how can we start to do that for our faith as well? So we want to start to habit stack things in our lives that will bring us closer to God. And what kind of transformation you experience depends on what God needs to transform in your life. It's not always going to be predictable. What happened for me to transform my life is going to be different for you and how it transforms your life. But one thing that we know for sure is that when you spend time with Him consistently over time, you can't help but be transformed. You can't help but be changed because of what He's going to do in your life.